Okay, it's 5 o'clock. So, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the City of Kingston Tree Commission meeting. Today is April 9th, 2024. It's 5 o'clock, and we are at City Hall. My name is Suzanne Cahill. I'm the planning director for the City of Kingston. Our office administers the Tree Commission and the functions that are associated with it. For those that are joining us here, I just have a couple of announcements. If you do have a cell phone, I just ask that you silence it. If you need the bathrooms that are outside across the chamber, and then you go left or right for men's or women's. Emergencies, we ask that you don't use the elevator. If you need assistance, use the stairs. We'll help you. That said, I'm just going to go around the table and ask the commission members to introduce themselves first. Evan, I'll start with you.
Evan King, Tree Commission member.
Vince Archer, Tree Commission member.
Amanda O'Neill, Tree Commission member.
And we have online Teddy.
Elizabeth Collins, Tree Commission member and representative for the Memorial Tree Fund.
Thank you. Kyla Dede from my office is also here with us tonight. You have an agenda in front of you, but we do have one of the applicants here, so I'll ask if you want to just come up to the table. This is 2 South Prospect Street under the tree review projects. So Sean, you just want to introduce yourself and just give a little bit about the application. You should have all received a copy of this already circulated to you.
Yep, I'm Sean Rath with PC Construction, and we're the construction manager on the Metro project in Kingston at 2 South Prospect Street. There's 2 trees that are on the south side of the building on Barman Ave. One of the trees looks like it's in pretty rough shape. And the second tree is very close to the building and has potential for the root system to get damaged.
Kyla's got the
When we do the waterproofing work on the foundation. So we're proposing to remove those 2 trees. And obviously we would follow the BAT procedures with that as well.
So you're going to be actually digging and trenching along the perimeter of the foundation to waterproof?
Yeah, correct. So right here, we need about 4 to 5 feet to properly waterproof this foundation. Okay. So that would obviously disturb that root system.
So I know there was a landscaping plan that was provided originally with the application. Obviously at that time, though these true trees weren't intended to be removed, do you have any plans to replace any trees along this backside then of the property?
Currently it's not on the plans to replace them, but that would not be an issue at all to replace those trees.
Okay. Yeah, it would be nice to replace the 2 and maybe throw in a 3rd.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of area back there. So the back side of this building, if everybody's familiar with the structure over there by Barman Park, this is the old Metropolitan building that is currently under, you see it's boarded up and fenced, it's got a fencing around it. They're getting ready to do some additional, interior and exterior work. The back side of the building will not have any main entries or anything like that, right? No separate entrances, emergency out, but
Correct.
That's all it's, so no real reason for people to go back there and enter.
Correct.
Okay, all right. Okay. Any questions from anybody? Debbie, any questions? Okay.
Just question, my question will be like, when will be the removal and the back of the project? Let's say we recommend to have a tree planted. When, what's the stage will it be and, then so,
Yeah, the removal of the tree, so we'll hire the Batman that has to come out and inspect, and then, hopefully if there's no bats in the trees, then we would remove them the following day. If there are, then we would wait until, November when we can remove the trees. And then the project will be completed around June of 2025. So come next springtime is when we would install the new trees.
Right, for those that are not knowledgeable, Vince knows this from planning board, the Indiana bats are prevalent in our area, and they're protected, so there is no, removal of trees after March 31st of the calendar year or before November 1st. So that their habitat is not destroyed. All right. So I would need a motion on this, from someone to move it forward.
The motion,
Okay, so that would be a motion to approve the removal
and follow the standard.
with all of the standard conditions and replant. And you want to,
Three or more trees.
you want to ask for 3? Okay. So the standard conditions, and I'll send this off to you in a decision document, they're basically to protect the vehicular and pedestrian traffic along the roadway when work is going on. Obviously, you're aware of that situation. All debris has to be removed from the site and disposed of properly. So it's the standard conditions like that will get applied, okay? DPW permit if needed, insurance coverage, the gamut. So Evan has a motion on the floor. Is there a second? Second by Amanda. Is there any discussion?
So, I just have one quick question. You did an assessment to determine that there was bats?
That has not been done yet.
Oh, so that's what you said, you're gonna have a
We're gonna have
inspector come up.
Batman come out and
So if
inspect.
you can't do anything until late fall, does that impact your schedule?
It does impact the construction schedule, but we can work everywhere
Just-
else around the building, so it's not a major issue.
Right, with a project this small, Vince, if they can get the determination that there is no habitat that would be destroyed, you can get waivers from the DEC to remove the trees outside of the normal restricted timeframes.
But I was only keen in on the statement that they were gonna do some digging for waterproofing on that side.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's gonna impede.
Right, so if we could not remove the trees until November, then we would just leave that section out
Do it
and
that
do it later.
Okay.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, so there is a motion and a second, all in favor? Tebby? Okay, that's unanimous. Thank you.
Great, thank you, everyone.
Take care.
Okay, so I just want to quickly go through the others. 17 Clinton Avenue was here last month. Laura, Ricky was here, and at that time, we looked at the tree. George went out afterwards, and also took a look at it. He recommended that it not be removed, that it just be pruned. She had her arborist, who's Eric from Limburg, go out and look at it as well. He agreed, so it's really just to affirm that it will only be pruned and not removed. So I just wanted to bring that back and affirm that, okay? 18 Clinton, when George was out, he identified this tree as directly across the street. This is dead. I had sent around a copy of the letter that I sent to the property owner after we identified it. It's hard to see the tree in the photograph that was there because it's kind of dark and cloudy, but it is completely dead. And so we notified the property owner that we were going to bring it to this meeting. Tell them that they were welcome to attend. Obviously, they're not here. I'm asking the commission to make a motion to direct them now to formally just remove the tree and with all the standard conditions. And in this case, we'll probably offer them, if they needed, the assistance. Tebby, I shared, I'll email it to you, the form that we're gonna use on the city's end to help offset costs. Like the Memorial Tree Fund, I have a one pager, so I'll offer that assistance up to these individuals as well, but I do need a motion. Okay, so Amanda is motion to remove
Standard.
with all standard conditions.
Are we going to recommend the owner to replant the tree?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Obviously, you know, if they cover the cost of a removal, I would welcome them to submit an application to our tree planting program as well. Yeah, through that. So we will, but just plant one in replacement. And I'll send them out the info for the assistance. So that is a motion. I need a second. Vince? Okay, all in favor? Okay.
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay, thank you, Debbie. Okay, so the next one is 39 Crane Street. Again, we had one on the other side of the street last month. In reviewing that in looking at that tree, the superintendent, deputy superintendent DPW identified one on the other side of the street as well with very similar issues, and he had concerns with its condition as well. The property owners were contacted by mail, but I didn't notify that the meeting was to take place. Welcome to come, they're not here, so I'm going to ask that the commission again just confirm that this should be removed.
I have a question. I went down to the tree yesterday, and I took a picture of it. It didn't look that bad to me,
Yeah,
other than having a dead squirrel on top. But
what I had is a September 23, and it's got a lot of dead wood, according to DPW. Let me see, where is his email?
it's a significantly large tree.
So when he looked at 34 Crane, that was what I had sent him out to take a look at. He said there's quite, about 34, he said there's quite a few limbs that have broken off, as well as some that have been pruned and not healed properly. It is also correct that is heaving the sidewalk and interfering with the overhead service wires. While I was there, I also took a look at the tree across the street in front of 39. The tree appears to be roughly the same age and size and appears to be suffering from the same problems, but not heaving the walkway.
Is this something that can be pruned then, if it's just left branches?
Possibly direct them to prune, try and prune first, we could, and if they obtain an arborist and the arborist says it's not worth pruning, would we be okay with the removal?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, I can do that.
You know, it's pretty close to the pole. Electric. Utility pole. Pretty close to it. That's the only thing I saw that.
Yeah, I mean, I would guess,
Really
just
good.
looking at the picture of it, that the utilities have cut the backside off of it. And then you can see some stubs kind of poking out from the one trunk.
Mhm.
So they may have cut off, and she, looks like she's also obviously running a daycare possibly there out of her home. They may have cut some of them so that they don't overhang the play area. It's like there's a lot of kids playing in the yard there. Okay, so I would need a motion then that we direct her to prune, try and prune first. If the arborist comes back and says it is not worth the pruning, it should be removed, then that would be authorized to do that. We will do it with standard conditions, even with the pruning, and replant one tree and with the subsidy options. Motion, okay, Amanda, second, Evan. Any discussion? All in favor? Okay.
Aye.
Okay. So I think we talked last month about Pearl Street. I won't, it's not on the agenda, I won't get into it, but it's basically been removed from our consideration because the engineering department is working out a concept to save that tree at that intersection. So that will be retained and not coming out. So let's move on to Arbor Day.
Okay, so, I will need information from you. I'm gonna go ahead and make the brochure.
Okay,
And I'm touching base with Lisa, that's the music teacher that's kind of facilitating everything and, getting any of the information, is pertinent for the fire from them and then
Okay.
putting it together and then I'll send it to you for review.
okay,
Moving ahead with the 10 o'clock time, as stated. And, she said it doesn't really so much matter where the position of the tree is for the kind of celebration that they're going to have, because, there's about 400 students that are gonna be coming out and staff and
Okay.
everybody. So what they're gonna do is plan for an area on the property where they can create a semicircle for the
Okay.
activity. And then I'm just waiting back from the principal to have the final, are they gonna dig the hole, which I'm presuming they will, because they did in the other
Yeah.
event. And the finalized location, which she said that she is working with Buildings and Grounds to get. I tried to reach her, but she was in a back-to-back meeting, so,
Okay.
and I will email out the answer.
okay, okay.
Yeah, and then, that's it. I think we're all in a good place, like, they've been working really hard at doing the singing activity, they have a whole building sing, and then the peace singers, and then, the little projects.
So the tree planting, then really, it's gonna be hard to do the tree planting as part of that ceremony if the tree's going, because that's a lot of kids, so you really have to have them in the Washington Avenue side, maybe of the school, or do you think they'll all be, because didn't they want to plant it out front? Or I don't know where they want to plant it, maybe they changed their mind.
Yeah, maybe they did, so I'll have to update that on an email, it's just hard to get in touch, because between spring break and then coming back.
Right,
And, right now, the building's doing state testing, so
okay,
I'm sure that's probably part of
okay,
the delay, because that's a lot of responsibility.
okay. And Kyla, you spoke with
Yeah,
Annie?
so Annie, we're gonna meet Annie at Adams. She's going to pay for the tree and we'll just take it that same day, so we don't have to do the hold. And then if we get it in advance, we can just hold it at the nature center until that day. Mark is fine planting, like if they dig the hole and we plant it and it's planted and mulched, and then that way if it's not in a spot that they wanna be around, it'll just be planted. They can take photos or something by it. Whatever works.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
So you said they wanna
I
read it?
still don't know, I'm hoping that we can get a DEC forester there. I emailed George and asked him
He
if
said
he
he
was
wasn't
coming, and I don't think he's available, so hopefully we'll have somebody else, but the mayor is already calendared, so he will be there as well. And I don't know from the school district, like if anybody,
It appeared that they were just going to have Lo Bianco, the principal,
Okay.
and, you know, as the school
Okay.
official by being the principal of the building.
okay, all right. I didn't know if anybody from the district office was.
And I'll find that out to add to the brochure if necessary.
Okay.
So if I can get any names, like, you know, any affiliates with the, Memorial Tree Fund, anything that I need to put from your end.
Okay, all right, so it would just be the mayor from our end. And Tebby, how do you want the Memorial Tree Fund recognized in the program? Just as the Memorial Tree Fund, sponsoring the tree, or
You're muted.
you're muted? Tebby, you're muted.
Yes, I would say the tree was donated by the Memorial Tree Fund. And what you might say is the Memorial Tree Fund of the Ulster Garden Club, because it's really kind of part of that. So,
The Ulster Garden.
yeah, Ulster Garden Club.
Good.
They're it's confusing. They're separate entities, but all the members of the Memorial Tree Fund are from the Ulster Garden Club, and so they're very closely linked.
Well, what came first? The Ulster
The
Garden
Ulster
Club?
Garden Club came first, and
Okay,
then they were involved with, I guess, I don't know, maybe it was when some stuff was going on at Academy Green, but at some point in time, the Memorial Tree Fund was created, and the bylaws say that the Memorial Tree Fund is made up of members of Ulster Garden Club.
okay. All right, good. Anything else that you need from us, Amanda?
I don't think so. And then I just had, the information about my Franklin Street walk. I don't know if you want.
Yeah, you wanna, I mean, John, I just wanna just say the one last thing for Arbor Day. Corinne can't be here today, but, she met with John from the high school, and looked at the property, and we're gonna be, out of the city's funding, we're gonna be giving them 2 trees for their project over there that they're doing. And then they'll be buying several more to do their landscaped area over there, but Corinne was really excited. Sorry that she couldn't be here, but she was very excited about what the school is doing. She said it's got some challenges, but you know, she's committed to working with them over there as well. So that's some really good outreach for our commission to have as well. All right, so I had asked Amanda to take a look at the trees along Franklin Street, because we had a complaint from an individual that they were not surviving. So we wanted to wait until they were budded out, to get an idea of, you know, what needs to be replaced or not. That project, unfortunately, the way it worked out in the end with the city, the contractors, they were in a lawsuit, they had a settlement, and so there is no warranty on those trees. Unfortunately, that was part of the settlement dissipated. So, any trees that need replacement, we are going to be doing ourselves. And so I had asked Amanda, because I know she lives over in that area, if she would go and take a look at the trees for us, so.
Yeah, so Saturday I walked the full Franklin Street, both sides, and looked at each tree. In the bags, of course, people had put a lot of garbage, so I kind of shook all that out. There appears to be not as many species as I would have hoped, having been planted. I would say, you know, it's hard to see what they are because the things are just starting to bloom, but I only really saw maybe like 4 different types of trees.
I think 4 or 5, maybe. I think
Okay, so
it was
so pretty
yeah.
close in that. Quite a few had some good blooms coming or little ones going, but I did identify the ones for me to revisit maybe like now, like a week and a half from now, to see
Okay.
how they're going. So some didn't really look like they were doing much, but of course, like by the species, it might not be for like
Right.
another 2 or 3 weeks, so that's why I identified which one specifically to go back to. And, some of them, like the branches were very, very brittle and questionable, so I identified that. And then some of them didn't look like much was going on, but there was a lot of flexibility and it looked like, there was like good life going on there. So I kind of like really investigated. People were like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I had a few people that like, stop it, doctor. But I did have a couple that were of concern. So, and I apologize because I'm gonna have to go slowly to find them because I have a lot of notes. So we have on the south side of Franklin Street, on the corner of Franklin and Fair toward Wall Street, the planting of a tree needs to be revisited. It's up too high and it's like, maybe
Okay.
some soil, something needs to go out to it because it's very uplifted and I feel as though maybe it's not thriving because the roots aren't able to be taken.
I know which one you're talking about. I've
Okay.
seen that one,
Okay,
yes.
so there's that one.
Okay,
And then, I'm old, so I have to take classes. A lot of like the flexibility, like just my notes about. Okay, on the south side of Franklin by Prospect going toward Broadway, there is a framing of the tree, like the wood posts that were put in. Somebody broke both of those pieces and subsequently the tree is at like probably a 45
okay.
to like angle.
So the support
Yeah,
poles,
so
okay.
it's not good, like the angle of the tree is of sort that something needs to be taken care of it because it's gonna be a problem. It's like at a significant angle. And the same, oh, I'm sorry,
So is that in front of a residential house or is in?
it's over by the library, but over on the north side of the street. And the other thing is, it looks like a taller variety of tree and it's right under electrical lines where I'm just like, I don't feel like that's good for this particular tree.
Okay.
So honestly, if something has to be done because it's at such an angle and it's so high that it's still touching the poles, maybe it needs to be just put somewhere else while it's still
Okay.
young enough to be dug up. And maybe we could put a different species there that's smaller.
Mhm.
Because like I said, it's, it's only a couple of years old and it's already touching the wires and it's at such a degree.
Okay.
And then one tree I'm really concerned about is the first tree on the north side of Franklin toward Broadway. It's not looking good, like there's very brittle branches, nothing looking like it's thriving. And an indicator to me that it might have died is that there's a whole bunch of mini shelf mushrooms all along the bark.
Okay.
And so I don't know if it's even alive, but there's a lot of mushroom activity going on. So those are the only 3 like major things to address now
Okay,
until I go and revisit to see
Okay.
maybe like 6 other trees. But I kind of feel like as I was going, the same species were the ones that weren't doing much, so I feel as though they will be fine.
okay, they might be just.
Yeah, I just feel
Right.
like they're late
Okay.
bloomers.
Okay, okay,
And that's
good,
that.
good,
Who's
great.
maintaining the, not that we needed any water, since we don't want rain, but who's maintaining the gator beds?
Who's making what?
Maintaining,
The city did watering last year when we had a little bit of a drought. And then it's gonna be the property owners, like all of the, the rest of the city.
Now, are they gonna go through and take those supports off and the bags off eventually, and then it'll be,
Yeah,
because a lot of them did have a lot, like a good amount of water, and then when I was moving them around.
we had a lot of rain too. so-
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I mean, it looked like they were definitely, none of them looked dried out, other than the one that had like the uplifted soil, everything looked like it was settling well, so I feel like the planting was done well, other than just that one. But
right.
who knows what could have happened?
That was like
It could
that.
have been a bad wind that could have
When-
lifted it up.
Right.
Instead
And that
of-
was last year, because I
Is it soil
I
saturated?
reported it last year.
Oh.
It looked like half the bag was out of,
Yeah,
the burlap bag was out of the ground, and I
Yeah,
was like,
one
it's
side
definitely, yeah,
lifted
it's
up.
like definitely not planted right.
so I'm worried about it getting like good roots.
Okay.
structure.
Yeah.
And that's it.
I agree. Okay, good. All right, Vince, Vince and Tevy, do you want to just give a quick, rundown on the, meeting that you guys went to down at SUNY New Paltz?
Sure. Vince, you want me to start or you want to start?
No, you can start.
How
Okay.
was Vince's
Um,
driving?
What?
How was Vince's driving?
Oh, okay. Well, I thought it was a good meeting. I mean, it was really interesting to go and hear what other people are doing. And I think it also made me realize that we in this city are really doing a lot. And George was there and he announced that we're hiring a urban forester. And that was kind of exciting. I didn't realize how long we'd been a tree city. I probably knew at some point, but I found out it's 28 years. But there was one city that had 40 years.
Wow, which one was that? Do you remember?
Somewhere down towards the city. I don't, do you remember, Vince?
No, I don't.
I just remember they were down towards the city, and I can't remember where it was. Sorry.
That's okay.
I probably, if I go back to some of my notes, I could probably find it. And then I thought we had a little someone talked, and then they recognized everyone there, and Vince got up and said a few words, and then we had a discussion, and I thought that was really interesting, hearing what people are doing, and we actually were able, or at least in my group, I was actually, because Vince and I were in two different groups, I was actually able to help some people out. They were interested in tree lists. And so we shared our tree list with two other groups, someone from New Paltz, who works with the buildings and grounds and conservation, and was actually, because it was hosted at New Paltz, was helping with the meeting. And then I sent it to one other person, might have been like in the Newburgh area, but I can't remember. And told them about some of our projects. So I don't know, that was interesting to me. So I felt like I learned something, and I felt like I was able to share something.
Good.
Thanks.
Vince?
No, I concur.
Okay.
I just said a few words about what we're doing in terms of the tree commission and city trees and
Okay.
plantings, and like I talked a little about the school systems that we
Mhm.
participated in, and one that's coming up in Washington School, and how the kids, in particular, the Roundout Center, and how the kids got involved with drawings, and they participated in tree planting and that kind of stuff. So that was they were excited about that and getting
Yeah.
kids involved. So a lot of the other communities are talking about doing something similar.
Right. Oh, good. That's good.
So we kind of
inspired
spawned some
people,
thought
I like
process.
that.
for that.
Yeah, great, okay, wonderful. Well, I know you brought up the forester, so just an update. It is out there now. The job spec is posted, so if anybody knows anyone that might be interested, have them reach out to our Civil Service Commission. It's on the website as well, for them to submit. Right now, we're accepting applications, so that's going forward. They received quite a few resumes, but they lacked the application. So those individuals have been directed to submit applications as well as a resume. And I just got a note from George yesterday that he wasn't gonna be here with the other grant that we applied for. There's no word on that yet, but so he thinks, this is his thinking, that like it happened a couple of years ago, it's gonna happen on Arbor Day. They'll make the announcement on Arbor Day, so that's what he's anticipating. Other than that, I just have a couple of quick things. I did share with you the application, so that's out there now, that's on our city website. as assistants, obviously for individuals, very similar, to the Memorial Tree Fund. I plagiarized a little bit maybe, but I thought theirs worked, so why reinvent the wheel? I think most of you have seen or read about the mayor's, initiative. There's a tree tracker, now, which is on engagekingston.com. Mayor's goal is to have 1,000 trees planted by 2030. Is that correct?
I don't know, I'm just gonna pull it up. Go ahead.
That's incorporating trees that are planted not only, through our programs, but infrastructure projects. It's new trees that are going in there, as well as, development proposals who are adding street trees along their respective, frontages. So hopefully, I think it's a very attainable number. And I'm hoping, that everyone, the community will embrace it as well. But, yeah, so this is
What was it, the date, the year, 2030?
2030. Yep.
She has it up there now, Vince.
Oh,
So right now, we're at 331 since this was initiated. And there's where all of the counts come from. So as you can see, there's a mishmash, of capital improvement projects. Our Arbor Day plantings are in there, our street tree plantings are in there. When homeowners have planted and applied, those are in there as well, so I think, we're pretty well on our way. So that's exciting. Other than that, let's see. Talk to you about that. Talked about that. I don't really have anything else unless somebody has anything.
Just a quick question, like, do we have any plan to replace the tree, like, just say some Bradford pear tree in Academy Green?
Well, we did 4 of the cherries, and there's still 4 Bradfords that are there. Tebby, are you not planning to remove those? Is there a plan to remove those? I know the 4 that were removed were because of storm damage. And I know we had talked with Annie about possibly waiting a couple of years and then replacing them so that the cherries
Yeah.
kind of grow.
We wanted to replace them. I think they didn't want the original 4 to grow too tall before we plant 4 more, so that they look, the sizes are somewhat standardized. But from what Annie told me, excuse me, the mayor didn't want to take down additional trees, because, there are a lot of complaints about, why are you taking down these trees? So I guess where the Memorial Tree Fund still would like to replace those Bradford pears with 4 more cherries at some point.
It's just like, I think the Bradford pear are invasive. And
Yeah, it
also
is.
they're
It's
problematic
considered
for
an
trees.
invasive species, yes.
And so it's also very, I think it's not, it will crossbreed with the other type of trees, so I think that's why, I'm just want to see like if it's possible.
Okay.
Bradford pear.
Yeah, so this is, the Allay, is it Allay?
Annie
Yeah.
just this afternoon, so she just wanted us to know that they are blooming and that they.
Yeah,
look
They
really
do look really nice there. They're
Yes.
nice, very nice trees.
but do we want to do planting a lot of monoplanting? If you do 4 more cherries, so that's 8 cherries and then
Right, so
Small
the
areas.
the other four Bradfords behind them, are what they would like to ultimately replace
But with cherries,
with
cherries,
cherries.
same
Yeah.
species.
Yeah,
Seems like
yeah,
could be problematic if there's something.
yeah. I mean, it's
Well,
hard.
that's something to think about, and I
Yeah,
can, there's a,
like every time a tree comes down, if it's not, like even with the Deep Stadium project, even though, they're getting replaced with 3 times the number of trees are going back into the ground, or any street project that goes along, to put the infrastructure in, you have to remove trees. Some of them are healthy, and while we try and encourage them to preserve as many as possible, some of them just have to go, and, the city does get criticized very harshly for taking any tree down, that is not dead, dying, or diseased, so.
and to be very clear, the 4 in the front were, I think one was severely damaged, may have even fallen down. I didn't see it. But I think
These, there was no question with these, they were damaged.
they were definitely damaged from all the recent storms. And so that was why they were replaced, in case anyone asks you why they were taken down.
No, we had that documented, so that was not an issue, but they are very pretty. They look good. Anything else? Okay.
Said one quick one. How do we make out with Gate Street? The tree removals.
Oh, I haven't found anything out yet on that.
Okay.
But they definitely didn't come to us,
No.
and I don't know if they even went to the DPW. Because they would typically say something to me.
Okay.
So you know what, I have a Post-it note still on my desk, so I will follow up on that.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so I will just entertain a motion to adjourn. Okay, from Amanda, is there a second? From Evan, all in favor? Okay, so we are adjourned, thank you.
Okay.
Debbie, feel better?
Thanks. Thanks for letting